Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, where we review movies, television series, and incidents in pop culture to see how those incidents may or may not affect our daily lives. Listen, Fat Joe talking greasy again. Now, I wasn't going to talk about this. Shout out to Torian Rain. He did a good live stream about it. And if you want a more in-depth analysis, please go over to his YouTube page. He's definitely on top of all of this. This is all opinion based about me thinking about Fat Joe. Now, I hear Fat Joe is talking greasy again, talking about black folks uh, being slick with his mouth, you know, claiming he's something that he isn't. Because again, he is one of those people that uses the culture but is not of the culture. Now, don't mishear me. I know that he is a rapper. He is from New York. I know that he is Puerto Rican. I know all those different things. But what I do know and understand, uh, they're black folks, and then they're black folks. All right. Uh, when I say there are black folks, I am talking about black Americans. When I say that, I am a black American. I speak from that culture. I speak, that is what I know. I can't tell you, it would be ignorant of me to sit and try to tell you or speak from the perspective of black folks coming from the Caribbean. It would be ignorant for me to try to speak from the perspective of the Africans coming from the continent or any other African within the diaspora about what their feelings are and things of like that. So I think it's disrespectful when that is done to us, but it appears to be something that I have found, and I try to stay out of these types of arguments because of the fact that it seems like people outside of Black American culture love to crap on us. They want to tell us, if they're not the Africans living in Britain, trying to explain to us that we don't know who we are or we don't know where we come from because we can't pinpoint on the thing, even though they understand and clearly, because I've seen them in a lot of their podcasts, they clearly know about the 400 years of slavery on this soil, and knowing that we were on this soil before the country became its own country. We were here. All right. And what I mean by that is we were enslaved people when this place was colonies. Now, there are some people who will state to you that they have been in these Americas even before that. If you want to discount that, a lot of people, because again, when you allow for other people to tell your story, they start not wanting to see, they see it from their own lens. And people have said that, oh, well, they have been heavily melanated people that looks like me, that have been on these continents in these Americas even before Christopher Columbus comes by. Now, you'll have people sit up here and tell you, oh, well, that can't be true because, all black people came from Africa. Forgetting, absolutely forgetting the fact that Pangea existed. And at one time, all of these continents were pushed together. So if all of these continents, and if you look at South America and you look at Africa, South America fits right there. You don't think that some of the heavily melanated folks was on the side where South America was when this continent split? You're foolish. But again, it's the victor that gets to tell the story. And then that was defined history. People don't want to hear all of that. And even when there's evidence to show you that there have been people being around places, whoever is controlling the history don't want you to know it. This is why you have a lot of these initiatives, the DEI initiatives, because the way the story is to be told, particularly here in the United States of America, is that black folks were lazy, but the only time that you called us lazy is when you could no longer use us for slave labor. Then we became lazy. Then we became criminal. Because why? The only time that you can actually have slaves in the United States of America is by uh, if they've uh, if they've gone to if they've gone to prison. So since you couldn't do it the other way, all of a sudden there were laws at between 1870 and 1960 something, where anything that you were doing as a black person was considered to be illegal. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. If you still have someone living that is from the silent generation, that are baby boomers, and if some people by chance are still living from the great generation that look like you, ask them about vanilla ice cream. Ask them why in the Black American community that a lot of people do not eat vanilla ice cream. Now, Gen Zers, millennials, Gen Xers will eat vanilla ice cream, but ask them why that they ate butter pecan more so than they ate vanilla ice cream. Because I need for you all to understand a couple of things. These people are still living. These people are still living. When people want to tell you, oh, this stuff was in the past, these people are still living. If you talk to people who like me that are Gen Xers, and we're on the upper side of Gen Xers, we had greats. And what I mean, like great grandmothers whose mother was a slave. And those people were still living in my lifetime. You have people like my mother who lived through Jim Crow, where they had to go to the back door of an establishment to be able to order food or to be able to go to the grocery store, that they had to sit in the back of the bus, that they were in segregated schools. This is my mom. I have older cousins that lived through the first part of integration. They're still living. But everyone wants to get down and they want to talk about Black folks. Now, I know the big word is foundational Black Americans, and that is basically, it is not a racial hate group, it's not racist. Foundational Black Americans basically say that we can trace our lineage back before this country was a country, and that has everything to do with chattel slavery. It is not some racial hate group. And for someone like Fat Joe to say that and sit like he's sitting in a barbershop like he's some authority, you don't have no hair on your head. Shut up. Barbershop thinking that you in authority, you finna get something done. You don't have no hair on your head. And that also goes to, and people think, oh well, people of color, they empathize with what you're going through. No, they don't. No, they don't. And when we speak about it, in order to try to shut us up, you want to say that we are racist. What power over you do I have over you to stop you from doing something? Because that's part of racism. You want to know the truth about this country? You ask a Black American about this country, and we'll give you the skinny. But again, one of the biggest exports that this country does is this notion of We aren't crap. Don't talk to them. They're your enemy. They're those shiftless degenerates that you can't talk to. They're lazy. They don't want to work. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because even when you've looked at this whole election cycle, I know that a lot of Black folks who were in allyship with a lot of people of color were very disillusioned because we understood how white women were. We know how white men are in this country. You were very disillusioned. I wasn't disillusioned, I will tell you. I wasn't disillusioned because, again, you'd rather sit at the side of power than to vote for your own interests. And then you look silly because now you're thinking, you're realizing, as long as you thought that they were, all of these laws and all of these things were aimed at someone that looked like me, you're fine. Now that you see that these laws that they're making is starting to be aimed at you, y'all help us fight. You fight for yourself. Because we tried to tell you. We tried to explain it to you. We tried to explain to the people of color. You all sat back and said, what did you call him? Genocide Joe? Same thing with Kamala. But these people who you were telling your people to vote for, they're over there signing ammunition. Mm, to eradicate you. These people that you have voted for, they're okay with your countries being destabilized. Hmm. Because 10 times out of 10, your country that you came from have resources that they want. And they don't want to have to pay you for the resources. They rather destabilize your country and have you all fighting amongst each other so they can come in, buy up your land, and take your resources and not pay you for it. Then dangle opportunities in front of you. And then you come here and all on the backs of my gr- uh, great grandmother, grandmother, and parents fighting for civil rights. You come over here and get opportunities and then turn around and look at us and tell us, oh, y'all ain't trying to take advantage of anything. Hmm? But let's get back to Fat Joe. So Fat Joe was on Math Hoffa's podcast, uh, talking about several different topics. Now, I watched a part of it. I just couldn't sit down and watch the rest of it because he is not that interesting to me. Even when he made the songs and things like that, he is not that as far as a rapper, and if he considers himself a rap icon, he is not that interesting to me. And I don't say that to be ugly or anything like that, but it's just the truth. He wasn't all that interesting. Big Pun, him, they weren't all that interesting to me. The most interesting thing about them over there, uh, and she wasn't as interesting because she's just as problematic as they are, was Remy Ma. But Papoose was the one that to me had, and I don't know if he was part of their group or not. I know that he was dating Remy Ma at the time, but Papoose was the star, the better rapper out of all of them. Out of what is that? The Terror Squad. I don't know if Papoose was in the Terror Squad. I knew about Papoose before I knew about the Terror Squad, and I knew that he was a very good and very decent rapper, and I knew about him before I knew about any of the other ones. But anyway, so Fat Joe was on that podcast and he said some things. So I'm going to go over this article again. Uh, Torian Rain has a great video on it. Y'all go over there and support him. Tell him I sent you. Put it in the comments that I sent you. If you're watching this, tell him I sent you. But let me share my screen. Um, and let's go over Sport Skita, story written by Pratyasha Sakar. The title of it is "What Did Fat Joe Say About FBA Groups and Puerto Rican Trump Supporters?" Rapper goes viral over the use of the N word during podcast. And that is another thing too. But again, I'm just going to tell y'all really quick. That's y'all New York folks. Because you all, again, you all are up there melding and mounting with people, and you're allowing people to use that word that they claim they're using it in solidarity, but if you really look at it, they're not. They absolutely are not. But again, if you are choosing to use that word and continue to use that word, and you're not gatekeeping the people who use that word just because they're in hip hop, I'm gonna let that for y'all your hip hoppers, your hip hop heads in the community. I'm gonna let y'all have that because you can't be mad when one group uses it and then not another group uses it. If you're going to be the only group to use it, then be the only group that use it. If not, then you can't be upset. I just don't think that you can sit up here and be upset when somebody else is use it, because it's a thing about being in company. If when you got company over, you don't use the language that you use as a family there, because that's not their business. It says here rapper Fat Joe has gone viral online after using the N word while describing foundational Black American groups. The rapper has previously used the offensive term to refer to Puerto Rican Trump supporters as well. In an appearance on Matt Hoffa's My Expert Opinion podcast, Joe called the FBA group radically racist. Houseway. And accused them of excluding Black people from across the diaspora, including Caribbeans and Afro Latinas. It's a group of these guys that don't want to hear Jamaican, don't want to hear Guyanese, don't want to hear Black guy not down with them, right? So their job is to criticize anybody who does not look like them, who ain't a Black American. The FBA, whoever these broken N words are, I'm just keeping it a buck. And their mission is to attack everyone on Twitter, he said. And I think that they were referring to when they talk about the start of hip hop. And they want to talk about, the influences and things like that. And they claim, oh, well, Black Americans don't want to hear that these people contributed to hip hop. No one tells you that, but we all understands there's nothing wrong with contributing. But where hip hop started, the influences that it comes from. You don't hear a lot of Jamaican music being beats that rappers use to sample for their music. You don't hear a lot of Guyanese music that rappers use to sample in their music. Most of the music that was used to sample was what? soul music, rhythm and blues music, rock and roll music, funk music, jazz, and all those things are quintessentially from Black American culture. Were Puerto Ricans in hip hop back in the 70s? Yes. What I remember were they were dancers. You had very few Puerto Rican MCs. They were taggers, graffiti artists. You had very few Puerto Rican MCs. Were there Puerto Rican MCs? Absolutely. But there were more black folks that were MCs. And most of them were Foundation Black Americans. Let's see. So this is I know that he is considered one of the talking heads in regards to Foundation and Black Americans. He pushes that quite heavily. It says a white Puerto Rican Fat Joe says foundational Black Americans are broke and FBAs are Black racist. Fat Joe is still upset that the film Microphone Check completely shut down the Blacks and Puerto Ricans created hip hop 50-50 lie. Joe has previously used the N word with the Puerto Ricans. I'm not going to go in there because that's between him and his culture. Uh, um, so they go over a whole lot of different things. In that interview, what was interesting that I found to be interesting, he had talked about when the police were coming to get him, and that he made sure that he was talking to police. He's moving in the he claims he's moving in the streets like a mafioso. But then when he hears that the police are coming after him, he picked up and he booked up and he moved to Miami. I know I'm bouncing all over the place because again, I sure. I found that to be interesting, and people would say he was trying to make it seem like he was this really big mafiosa, heavy dealer in the illegal drug trade and all of this stuff, doing all this big talk and everything like that. But when he heard the heat was coming, you bad, stick around. He didn't. He went down to Miami. He went with his people. He garnered the relationships and things that he had with his people. Fine, you do what you need to do. I'll just say this again: the a rise of Fat Joe and how Fat Joe moves within the hip hop community is on the hip hop community. Once again, if you are not going, if you're not checking the different cultures, the different ethnic backgrounds, using the N word without understanding the I don't know why it was freezing. I just had to stop it and come back. But if you want to allow that, that's on y'all. Because one day he's going to say something. He's going to say something again. He said something greasy back a while back, uh, talking about Remy Ma and what's her name? Ashanti and somebody else. He was talking about some group or something like that. He said something greasy and particularly about black women, but you all let that slide. That was a ha ha he he kiki moment. And now that he's talking about y'all black men, there's an issue and there's a problem. He's always said things greasy. Always said things greasy. Because it always seems like every culture can come and be an authority on our culture more than we are, and particularly online. You have other cultures believing that they are the authority of our culture, and then when you press them on it, then they're like, well, I didn't understand it, I didn't know. Oh, you didn't? Because just let's be clear, I don't care where you come from. You're here in the United States of America, and if these people have their way and they decide that they want things to go back to 1826, y'all are stuck. Who do you think is going to allow you to leave the country? 1810. How about that? You think they're going to allow you to leave the country? Go watch 12 Years a Slave. You think they care about you being educated? Do you think that they care about your knowledge of the law? Do you think they care about any of those things? Absolutely not. Am I talking that I want that to happen? Absolutely not. But I'm just saying, don't think that you're going to come here and that because you side or you voted for the way that they voted, that they just needed your vote. They're in now. They've got 4 years to wreak havoc. I can't understand for the life of me that you all that pulled through here illegally forgot that they had y'all in cages, separating you from your children, forced sterilization of women. 6 years ago. And y'all act like y'all don't remember all of that. Oh, well, they're going to get those people out of here. Huh? They're talking, uh, from what I understand, where people were using their quote unquote anchor babies to keep them here. They're taking you and your anchor, they throwing you and your anchor back to your country. They're causing destabilization tactics in your home country. So if and when they kick you out, when you are kicked out, you're not going to have a good welcoming party when you go back home. So anyway, my quote unquote opinion, this is a hip hop problem, and you all need to do what you all need to do with the Fat Joe. So y'all got Big Smoke. You all in the hip hop community, y'all have Big Smoke for black women when y'all want to have Big Smoke. You have Big Smoke for white rappers when they are not contributing the way that you believe that they should contribute. You got Big Smoke from each other. I mean, because just think about it. Honestly, think about it. In the past 8 years, not really to me, not until this Drake and Kendrick, and I could be incorrect, but not until this Drake and Kendrick beef Have people been reignited to want to listen to rap? Because let's think about it. Your faves that have come out between 2010 and now, half of them got RICO cases and the other half are dead. Where is Takashi 69? Where is Bobby Shmurda in them? Where is, what was King Von, Little Von, whatever his name was? Where is he? XXX Pop Smoke. Where are your faves out here? Now, I do understand that a lot of music has gotten to be quite regional. So, you Chicago drill rappers are probably all tight up in there. Your Miami rappers are probably tight up in there, and the music is being played up and down the corridor, the I 75 corridor. Your Memphis rappers, your Atlanta rappers, your Midwest rappers, your West Coast rappers. When was the last time that rap music has dominated the charts? And what I mean with not just Drake up there, but there's like several different rap artists. Because I remember in the early 2000s, rap dominated the charts, hip hop dominated the charts. When was the last time that happened? Where you had in the top 20, you had at least four or five of your favorite rappers in the top 20. And I don't remember Fat Joe being up there. For whatever you say about a lot of these women rappers, they're the ones that are quote that seem to be dominating the charts, not for very long, but that's what it seems like, that they're the ones dominating the charts with your Nicki Minaj's, with your Meg the Stallions, with your Cardi B's, your Lottos. What's that little girl? She looked like little orphan Annie. What is her name? Ice Spice, Rhapsody, Doechii. They may not be up there long, but you do see them. You see them up there over and over. But on the men's side, half, like I said, half of them are deceased. They have been pruned from the timeline, and the other half are fighting RICO cases. What's going on, hip hop? And then you've made this the craziest thing, that hip hop is a young person's game. So you've got a lot of artists out here that don't even do hip hop anymore. That you've got great lyricists out here. They don't do hip hop anymore because somewhere somehow there's some unspoken rule that hip hop is for the young people. Can you think how fire things would be if an LL Cool J, if a Ja Rule, if 50 Cent, if Andre 3000, Outkast, the Goody Mob, Queen Latifah, MC Light, if everybody had an opportunity to be out here in the game? Anyway, let me get off here because I find myself rambling. But forget Fat Joe. Fat Joe again. If y'all are not gonna check Fat Joe, he's going to continue to do what he's going to do. He's going to continue to say what he's going to say, and he's going to continue to be out of pocket for it. And you have to do it as a collective. And that's just it. All right, people, we do this every week. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video if you care. Y'all, Fat Joe is talking greasy again, and he's going to continue to talk greasy until you all check him. But like I said, y'all are not going to check him. And when I say y'all, you know who I'm talking about. Because you got a lot of smoke for those of us that are black with vaginas between our legs. But you don't have that smoke with the people that look like us with penises between their legs. And I said what I said. George Zimmerman walking around here like he owned the damn. Bye, y'all.